Hello everybody, so we have a ton of good news about the fourth stimulus check. Here's what you guys need to know. The IRS has actually said that many Americans may be due hundreds of dollars in a refund check. The good news is that you could receive a refund check soon, very soon everybody. There is also up to $8,000 in stimulus relief money that can be claimed by millions of people across the country that are currently facing financial difficulties. So make sure to watch until the end to learn how to receive this breaking stimulus check. Economists have told CNN that one thing that will likely happen is that people will get smaller refunds than they were expecting because the refund came in advance. Actually, according to CNN, many parents may not be happy when they file their tax returns this year, and this is because they could discover they're getting smaller refunds than they usually do. That's because more than 36 million families already received half of their enhanced child tax credit and monthly payments during 2021. Economists have told CNN one thing that will likely happen is that people will get smaller refunds than they were expecting because their refund came in advance. Folks, not only that, but listen to this. As part of last year's American Rescue Plan package, parents received half of the credit, up to $300 a month for their children, up to age 6, and $250 for those ages 6 to 17. From July though, December, families of 61 million children were sent the monthly payments. It was the first time the credit was delivered on a monthly basis, which was intended to help parents pay for housing, food, clothing, and school supplies. Now, parents can also claim the other half of the credit on their 2021 tax return that is. Democrats also increased the total child tax credit to a maximum of $3,600 per year for each younger child and $3,000 for each other. Prior to the expansion, which was in effect only for 2021, the standard tax credit was up to $2,000 for each kid up to age 17. Parents actually claimed it annually on their tax returns, which helped fuel their refunds. The Internal Revenue Service has also mailed Families Letter 6419, which states how much money they received in monthly child tax credit payments. Families, everybody, could have opted not to receive the monthly payments, instead claiming the full credit on their 2021 tax returns. But listen to this, everybody. Here's where it gets interesting. The Child Independent Care Credit, a tax credit for parents and other caregivers with qualifying dependents, was also expanded by more than double thanks to 2021's American Rescue Plan. American families pay between $8,000 and $10,000 per child for annual child care costs. But this year, parents and other qualifying caretakers can get a big tax break on care costs. The expanded Child Independent Care Credit allows eligible taxpayers to claim a credit worth up to $4,000 in care expenses, paid for one qualifying dependent or $8,000 for two or more. So definitely you want to be sure to claim this extra tax return and this extra stimulus money if you're able to get it. Now, hundreds of thousands of California taxpayers may be due hundreds of dollars in refunds from the IRS. Refunds on taxes withheld in 2018. According to the IRS, the median refund is estimated to be $776, meaning half the refunds would be lower and half would be higher. Now, the agency also estimates as much as $140 million could be due to Californians, and the amounts are based on 2018 federal income tax returns. People qualifying for the money did not file returns in 2018. To get money that they're due, they must file returns by April 18th, this year's tax filing deadline in California. IRS Commissioner Chuck Reddick said in a statement that people should act quickly, and by law, there's only a 3-year window to claim these refunds by the April tax deadline. So not everyone due a refund will get one. The IRS will hold back refunds of people who have not filed 2019 or 2020 tax returns. And if someone owes money to a state tax agency or the IRS, the refund will be used to pay that debt. It can also be used to pay unpaid child support or other pending federal debts like student loans. Folks, do you think President Biden will send out stimulus checks in 2022? Tell me your thoughts on this. I want to know.
Being here. Under President Biden, we know that inflation is at a 40-year high, and all of our consumers are feeling this. All of our Iowa families, American families, are feeling pressure in their pocketbooks. Every good and service that they need on a daily basis has gone up in price. So with our gas prices, the average in Iowa this week hit around $3.80 a gallon. And we have seen in other areas around the United States where it's gone up over $5 a gallon. And for coastal elites, maybe that's not so much. But I know in my home community of Red Oak, Iowa, That's a lot of money. And our families don't make that much to pay that, especially when families in our rural areas have to drive farther to go to work, when they have to commute longer distances to go to school. It's really impacting their ability to meet their bills on a daily, a weekly, and a monthly basis. So what are we seeing? Instead of addressing the issue, what we see is that the administration is doubling down on their deranged climate policy. And the president's budget contains billions, not millions, but billions of dollars for electric vehicles. I don't know many folks in my neighborhood that can afford to go buy an electric vehicle. Okay, so what we see, they're doubling down on these crazy policies.
What we can continue to do to advance his efforts, and he has continued to provide leadership. And with that, I'd like to give him and yield 3 minutes to the gentleman from Oregon, the sponsor of this bill, Mr. Blumenauer.
Thank you.
The gentleman is recognized.
I appreciate the gentleman's courtesy, and I appreciate his leadership and tenacity in terms of trying to help our beleaguered neighborhood restaurants. Our friends on the other side of the aisle, even if they got their dream piece of legislation, would not make any difference on the price of gasoline this year or next year. We're dealing with global supply. One of the things that will make a difference to break the grip that we have with the oligarchs and the sheiks is being able to deal with renewable energy that is not going to hold us hostage. We've seen remarkable progress that is made, and I'm sad that our friends on the other side of the aisle have been resistant to these innovations in terms of solar, wind, electrification, the things that will really make a difference today and tomorrow and help fight the crisis that we face with climate change and global warming. But this legislation will make a difference to 177,000 small neighborhood restaurants and other distressed businesses. From the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, these neighborhood facilities have been the hardest hit. You've heard already that they were subject to over 4 million jobs lost in the first few months of the pandemic. The unemployment in the restaurant industry remains stubbornly high, and approximately 90,000 restaurants have